By focusing too much on the accessories like a watch or a pen or using something which is maybe more flashy, or how you sign, or the shoes that you wear, or a bracelet that you wear, are we diluting the foundational way that we look at astrology, Vedic astrology, looking at the chart, the transits, the yogas, the doshas, the dasha period? And is it a question of too many cooks spoiling the broth and trying to move towards or using innovation or creativity and bringing too many items, things into the equation? And is there more truth to how we should be able to use these accessories? Are these remedial? How do they add? And are we moving away from the fundamentals? Let's dive into it. Let's see how we can answer this question. What is the most important area or things that we should focus on when we're looking at interpretations and results in our horoscope in our lives? Hello, namaskar and adab to all my friends, from your friend astrologer and guide Irfan, once more with you from your very own channel, Astro Assurance. Somebody reached out to me a few weeks back and talked about, after his horoscope reading, that what kind of watch should I wear? So I said, wear any watch which you think you like and which is within your budget. He said, no. I saw this video from somebody on YouTube, and that person was talking about a watch. Then in another subsequent video, he was talking about what kind of pen you should use. And in another one, he was talking about signature. So why are you not focusing on all of these, he asked me. So a thought ran through my mind, yes, I should do a video on this and address it. Because if we are bringing in all these other facets into astrological reading, into predictions, there should be a strong basis for it. Now, what is the basis for coming out with these different areas that we are adding into astrology? Is it that we are assuming that whatever your horoscope may be, whatever your transit may be, whatever your dasha system may be, unless you wear a watch which is of a certain quality, a certain kind, the strap should be made of this material, then only do we get results? Only because of not wearing a certain watch will we not get good results? Secondly, if you don't sign in a certain way, will this not get us good results? If we are not wearing shoes of a certain kind, will we not get good results? And if we are not having a certain quality of pen, for example, a Parker pen, a Schiefer pen, will we lose out on results? For instance, when I was in my initial days, I used to be told that you should wear a good suit and polish your shoes very well. Sometimes the watch may not even be seen from within your suit, for example. So what about this good suit? If I wear a very good watch, I have a very good pen, but I'm not so very well dressed, my suit is not well ironed or not of a good color, will I still get very good results? What if my car is not a flashy, good, nice car, not in the best condition? So how many things should I focus on to get really good results? And if I'm looking at too many aspects of reading a horoscope, am I spoiling the way I'm looking at interpretation? So I don't want to comment on who somebody else, what their version is. They have their own way of looking at things. But one important thing is, when we look at specifically Vedic astrology, we look at the sources, and the sources come from the shlokas in various books, whether it is the Jataka Chandrika, whether it is the Brihat Parashara Hora Shastra, or the Horasara, whatever. We are always looking at books, and from that we look at and we also interpret things. So to some extent, saying that you should wear good clothes, you should have good perfume, to that extent it's good. But to make it very specific, to your watch should be of a certain kind, its strap should be of a certain kind, the earrings you wear should be of a certain kind, your pen should be of a certain kind. Are we pushing things too far? Because it is mentioned in say Brihad Parasha or Hora Shastra that to improve your Venus, you should dress very well, you should use perfumes, you should use flowers, wear flowers and all that. And if somebody is not doing that, you spoil your Venus, then you should treat your gurus well to increase the strength of your Jupiter. All that is given. So somewhere we should be able to relate what we are talking to the ancient shlokas, what is written, and it should be substantiated through enough number of consistencies in the writing. So for example, if I'm saying my watch should be great, then I should have a reference of a watch, not just by somebody saying, but through multiple sources. Or if I say it's my research, for example, you can do research through charts. So if I say that if somebody is of Gemini ascendant, and their Mercury is debilitated, for instance, in the 10th house, then after seeing 100 charts, I'm able to see a certain trajectory, or I'm able to see a certain degree of standard result that they will get for this ascendant and Mercury debilitated in the 10th house. So there you have enough of research material, hundreds of charts. But can I relate a watch or a pen to charts over a period of time with empirical data and then say, for this chart, whatever may be the dasha, what may be the transit, if I use this kind of a pen, then it will add. And if I say, no, those are also important, this is also important, to where do I go and stop? Should I stop only at a watch? Should I stop only at a pen? Should I also go and take it to the signature? Should I take it further, the kind of perfume I'm wearing? Should I take it further to kind of shoes that I wear? What should I take it further to the kind of suit that I wear? If I'm giving a presentation to an important committee, for example. So how far do I take it? Becomes very, very important. So firstly, what is important is that we deal with people. Planets also are related to people. For example, planets also denote certain relations in our lives. Saturn is related to older people, elder people, those people who we look up to for guidance. But this is a day-to-day guidance. And Saturn is also related to people who serve. Saturn is also related to teamwork. Sun is related to authority figures, leaders. Again, related to people. Venus is related to the opposite gender, the fairer sex. Again, related to people. Jupiter is related to teachers, learned people, priests. Mars is related to children. Mercury is related to youth, a sense or degree of adventure. So people who have a strong Mercury, you will usually find them to have a certain degree of persona, a youthful, sportive or sporting persona, hanging out with those people who are much younger age than them, or themselves looking much younger for a long period. So it is people through whom we get results, and if we don't get good results, we should relate it to people rather than accessories or items. So for instance, if you have a poor Saturn or a weak Saturn in your horoscope, then it's important to strengthen the Saturn through dealing with old people in a more respectable manner. See if you can seek guidance from older people or elders in the family. For instance, once I remember somebody who in whose house he would not be getting very good results. So when I went to meet him, and he said, from many days I'm not able to get good results. My, I'm not getting growth. I'm not getting promoted. So I looked at, he had a car, very old car in his yard, which was in very bad condition. And I asked him, whose car is this? He said, this is my great-grandfather's, and we initially tried to take care of it. Now, nobody takes care of it. So I said, either you sell the car, but he said, I can't sell the car because there's too much emotional value. I said, then how are you treating the car? I said, then you just get it in good shape. Even if it's not running very well, don't spend too much money, but make it look good as if it's new. So he said, okay, I'll try this. He said, will it work? I said, try. So this guy, poor guy, he took his car out, gave it a good wash, gave it a good paint, got it running, got the car standing in his yard, but got it covered. And immediately, within weeks, he saw that he was getting more appreciated by his boss. He was getting acknowledgement also. So the car did come into question, but not just any car. The car was related to a certain relation and to a certain planet in his horoscope. If it was anybody's car, then it may not have given him that kind of results. Here, it was an immediate elder, somebody very old and elder in his family, directly related to him through his DNA, through his genes. And that's why it gave him results. Similarly, if you want to improve your Jupiter, you need to ensure that you respect your learned people, whether they are priests or they are sages or people who are expert in their field. Read up on those areas where you feel that you lack. Increase the competency or get in touch with people or follow them. Read up books. So through that, you will also improve your Jupiter. On the other hand, if you want to improve your Venus, for instance, I remember one example of Saturn. I remember one guy, he was running a bakery and his bakery used to do very well. But after some time, his bakery fell on bad business and for a few months, it was not going great. He reached out to me and he asked me that this is happening in my bakery, is not doing very well. So I looked at this Dasha period. Nothing was substantial changes, no important transit. That his business should suddenly not do very well. And there was not anything he had done, like moved his house or sold something. Hardly any difference he had made in his life in those 3-4 months. So I asked him, anything which you think? He said, no, nothing. Then I asked him, where do you source your material from? In your bakery, you need flour, you need sugar, you need butter, you need number of items. You need dry fruits. So he said, okay, I've got one vendor who is my oldest vendor and he is also my biggest vendor. So I said, okay, so what does any change? He said, yes, the vendor that I used to buy from, he was related to my father. And since my father is no more, and I used to still take the material from him. But a few months back, that old man, he died. And so now his son has taken over that business. So I take the things from him, all my resources, butter and everything I take from him, my flour and sugar. So I said, how's that guy? He said, he's very young and he seems to be very careless. He's hardly there. So I said, is there anybody else? The old guy, is his wife still around? He said, yes, the wife stays in the same house. So I said, continue to take the material from that same vendor, but ask the mother to hand over things to you. Give the money to the young chap, but ensure that the mother is there and she is doing that, okay, so many flour sacks, so much kilos, so this is your thing. Request, go and meet. So he said, I'll do that. So he went and met the old woman, met the young chap. Somehow they agreed. Then from then on, whenever he would go there, he would have that old woman, the widow of that old guy who used to hand over things to him. So what happened was, this guy's Saturn was in the 10th house in a bad shape. And so to increase the strength of the Saturn, why his Saturn was already doing very well? Because the guy who he was taking from, who he was profiting, was an old guy. And the old couple was taking care of things. The child or the young boy came in much later. The son came in much later. So because he went back and now got this wife involved, again the old person, again she was profiting from the transaction. So the Saturn's strength also improved. But there has to be some connection. There has to be some karma or what you're already doing with somebody or a relation, an established relationship for the planet also to gain strength. Another instance I remember is about Venus. And this father told me, my son, he's very good, and so this guy had a franchisee. He had automobile outlet. He had 2 or 3 franchisees. So he said that whenever my young son comes in and he comes into my shop and he tries to sell cars, within minutes he's able to sell. He's a very good salesperson. I'm now getting old. I said, you get your son involved. So son reluctantly agreed. Now this father, he had 2 or 3 outlets. So the most well-doing outlet, he got his son to sit there, and father took another outlet. But within months, he saw that these sales started to go down. And he was very surprised that this guy used to come in and sell cars within minutes while I was still overseeing that shop. Now I have allowed this guy to oversee the shop and he's sitting there and he's putting in effort, but the cars are not selling. So I looked at the horoscope of the boy and I saw that there was not too many challenges except that his Venus was not doing very well. So I asked his father. He was Capricorn ascendant and Libra was his 10th house, which was Venus was his 10th lord. Venus was placed in the 12th house. Normally Venus does very well, but Venus was in Sagittarius, a very fiery sign and the sign of an enemy, which is Jupiter. But Venus still had strength. But something was spoiling the Venus. So I asked the father, how's this, your son? What does he do? He said he's like a Casanova. He goes around with different kinds of girls. He already has a girl who he is committed to. He says he's going to marry, but he still moves around with different kinds of girls. I don't think he's very focused on a relationship. Then I called that guy, spoke to him, and I told him, look, your shop is not doing well. Your father has put in so much effort. What you're trying to settle down in a committed relationship. You really want your business to wind up, or at least your best outlay to wind up. He said, no, I don't want that. So I said, you will have to do this. You will have to stop going around with different girls and be committed to one person, because you're spoiling it. If you continue to do this, you will continue to not attract profits. In fact, your profits will go down. So he promised. He said, okay, I'll be good. And then for a month or so, I asked his father to also keep tabs on the boy, whether he's following what we told him. And father said, no, he stopped going around with friends. He sits at the shop also most of the time. He comes home and he hangs around only with his girlfriend. And then, lo and behold, within a few weeks, the outlet started to do very well. And by the end of the year, it came back to being the top outlet for that franchisee. So what did the boy do? The boy started to respect the Venus in his life, the person in his life who he was committed to. When he was moving around with other girls also, he had a lot of money, kind of a, Casanova moving around with girls. When he started to respect the other gender, he saw that Venus also respected him back, and Venus also strengthened. Why is Venus was not giving him the best of results in the 12th house? Because it was in Sagittarius. Sagittarius sign is also the 9th house, which is also the sign of your belief, your faith, religion, and good character. So whatever your community or religion is telling you to have a good character at or on, you need to be able to behave. If you don't do that, you spoil your Venus. With Mercury, you need to obviously take learned decisions, use data, and read books, increase your competency. You just don't need to read any book. Jupiter can be reading any books or religious books also, or getting all sorts of information. Mercury is specific to the area that you are competent on, or your area of interest or your area of work. Getting highly qualified, highly certified, increasing your ability to be able to show expertise is Mercury. Coming out with new ideas, vibrant ideas, and using data and information to be able to make decisions is Mercury. So if you want to increase the quality of results you get out of Mercury, then you need to be able to do this. And with Mercury, you need to try and do quick decision making, not spend too much time, and think win-win. Win for you and win for others. Then with Mars, you need to be energetic. You need to shun lethargy. You should shun procrastination. Try and keep your focus. With Mars, sometimes we dilly-dally, or we rush into things too quickly, or we lose focus very quickly. So Mars is energy, enthusiasm, being motivated, keeping your focus, not moving away from your goal easily. So then Mars does very well. Sun is about leadership, superiors, authority figures, father figures, or father itself. So if you are not able to get good results, then you need to see where you're failing. I remember one instance where there are two brothers, and the elder brother had his daughter who he wanted to hand over the business to, and he died, and the uncle was there. But the uncle and the girl were not seeing eye to eye for some reason, and the business was going down. When the girl was trying to, and though she was competent, she was not good. Father trusted the daughter also. But for some reason, the business was not doing very well. So the girl approached me and I asked her what happened. She said, till my father was alive, business was doing well. So I said, after that, what happened? She said, after that, my father and my uncle used to sit, but I was not able to get along well with my uncle. So I asked my uncle not to come to the shop anymore. So I said, okay. Then I parted ways with him. I gave him some money and he went. So I said, can you try and get your uncle to come back and sit at the shop at least for a few hours every day, or at least every week, or on the more important days when your business is, at a peak. So he said, no, I don't want to do this. So I told her, see, either you do this or you can try other things, but this may work quicker. So somehow she convinced her uncle, she apologized to him. So the uncle used to come, an older person, but who had authority over the other people who are in the shop. They respected him more. They looked him as a leader. They looked at him as somebody who knew the business in and out. They were not respecting the young girl so much. So when the uncle came and sat for a few hours, he would not involve himself in the business, just sit there. But by virtue of him sitting there, a son-like figure, father-like figure, because he was the uncle of the girl, and people looking up to him for leadership, for even if he would not tell them, they would look at him as somebody who knew the business, and so they trusted him more. The business started to do very well. So what happens is, if you want to increase the energies of planet, it's not just accessories, a watch or a pen. You can do that. So for example, accessories may help you to improve your Venus. But if you are not respecting the opposite gender, if you are not somebody who has a good character and how you deal with opposite gender, or women in general, your mother, your sister, whoever, then whatever kind of accessories, good accessories you wear, Venus will not give you good results. And if you wear good shoes or labeled shoes, but if you don't treat people who are working under you well, you spoiling your Saturn. If you are having a very good pen, a very good quality pen, again, you may be trying to improve your Venus or Sun or whatever. But if you are abusive, and this is another thing with Mercury, I remember an instance where a guy used to abuse a lot. He was excellent, his business was excellent, but he would abuse a lot. And he was in India and he used to abuse in the Hindi language, and it becomes very disgusting when you abuse in Hindi. And people used to hate him for that. But he was the leader, he was the owner. So someone used to get along with him. But I told him, you stop your abuses, because communication, you're spoiling your communication, you're spoiling your Mercury. So for each one of us, we need to look at and strengthen those planets which are important. If your Jupiter is giving you trouble, then you have to treat somebody who is a learned person, a mentor for you, who you've gone to for guidance every now and then, or somebody senior in your family, and improve that. With the Sun, you have to look at a father figure, senior person in the family, or a leader, or a previous boss. So you'll have to look at the relationships with people to improve the strength rather than just the accessories. You can use the accessories also, but without focusing on these, the accessories alone, or signature alone, or a pen alone, or a watch alone may not give you the best of results. So friends, like this video, share this video, and if you're looking for a personal consultation from me, please reach out to me. The link is given below. Until some other time, some other video, this is your friend Astrologer and Guide Irfan signing off. Ciao.